A reading from the book of Revelation. A great sign appeared in the sky, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and on her head a crown of 12 stars. She was with child and walked... Oh, sorry, got to do it again. A reading from the book of Revelation. A great sign appeared in the sky, a woman clothed with the sun, and on her head a crown of 12 stars. She was with child and wailed aloud in pain as she labored to give birth. Then another sign appeared in the sky. It was a huge red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns, and on its head were 7 diadems. Its tail swept away a third of the stars in the sky and hurled them down to the earth. Then the dragon stood before the woman about to give birth, to devour her child when she gave birth. She gave birth to a son, a male child, destined to rule all the nations with an iron rod. Her child was caught up to God and his throne. The woman herself fled into the desert, where she had a place prepared by God. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. During Pope Francis's visit to Mexico last week, I was so moved by the amount or the many images of Our Lady of Guadalupe that were displayed at every gathering he attended. The people of Mexico adore, love Our Lady of Guadalupe. And I'd like to reflect on this magnificent image of Mary, which I myself have grown to love over the years. Now, as you may well know, in this image, Mary is depicted as a pregnant woman clothed in the sun, very similar to the description that we find in the book of Revelation. But they say that we should not approach this symbolism, both depicted in the image and described in Revelation, in a superficial or merely sentimental way. The woman, clothed in the sun and with the moon at her feet, believe it or not, is portrayed in the book of Revelation precisely as a warrior. Because confronting her is this terrible dragon who is intent upon devouring her child as soon as it is born. It's a fearsome dragon. I mean, imagine this for a moment. It has 7 heads, and it has crowns, and so on. I mean, just imagine, I know this sounds a little crazy, but imagine if you're the father of a child and your wife's about to give birth, and outside the hospital room is this terrible beast. I mean, that's the image that we're meant to have. But this dragon is powerless against the woman and child, because the book of Revelation tells us she gave birth to a son, a male child destined to rule all the nations with an iron rod. Her child was caught up to God and to his throne. In other words, this little baby and his mother are more powerful than the most powerful of all the world's armies, all its political might. This little baby and his mother are stronger than any forces of evil, more powerful than any horrible problems which distress us and imprison us. Through God's grace, the child is in fact delivered from danger. But the dragon is furious, sending a torrent of water from its mouth to sweep the mother and child away. In the wake of the child's birth, moreover, a war breaks out in heaven between the dragon and Michael and his angels. Our Lady of Guadalupe, the Lady of Tepeyac, is a warrior as well. To Juan Diego, she said, "I am the ever Virgin Mary, Mother of the true God." When she said that, she was actively dethroning any false claimant to that title. Standing in front of the sun and upon the moon, with the stars of heaven arrayed on her cloak, the Lady of Guadalupe was showing her superiority to the cosmic elements worshipped by the Aztecs. Because the gods in question were bloodthirsty divinities, sanctioning imperialistic war and demanding human sacrifice. And Mary appears to Juan Diego and announces herself as the mother of a God who doesn't demand violence, but who instead takes upon himself as an act of love all the violence of the world. Our Lady of Guadalupe was thereby effectively calling out the false gods in the name of the true God. Now, to be perfectly clear, in condemning the gods worshipped by the Aztecs, we are by no means exonerating the atrocities that were committed to those people, to those native people, and the tremendous suffering that they endured from those who came from the New World. But what followed the apparition at Tepeyac is, of course, one of the most astounding chapters in the history of Christian evangelism. Though the Franciscan missionaries who had been laboring in Mexico for 20 years before Our Lady came, their progress was minor. But within 10 years of the appearance of Our Lady of Guadalupe, practically the entire Mexican people, 9 million strong, converted to Christianity. Our Lady of Guadalupe had proved a more effective evangelist than St. Peter, St. Paul, St. Patrick, St. Francis Xavier combined. And with that great national conversion, human sacrifice came to an end. She had done battle with fallen spirits and had won not just one person, but an entire culture, changing victory for the God of love. That should inspire us to want to do the same. We must, like Mary, announce to the world today the truth of the God of Israel, the God of Jesus Christ, a God of nonviolence and forgiving love. And we should, like Our Lady of Guadalupe, be pregnant with Jesus, bearers of Jesus to a world that needs him more than ever.